Why niches are overrated. Hey guys, Miles here, coaching for coaches. I hope this finds you well. I had a coaching call with a client the other day, and we were talking about the topic of niching, a very, very hot topic in our world. It's a topic that I've battled with for many a year. And have finally, I think, come out the other side. That doesn't mean that I won't go back into struggling with it, but it's something that brings up a lot of debate, a lot of dialogue. And I wanted to share something with you today as to why I think niches are actually really overrated. Now, there are many different videos that I've recorded talking about how to pick your niche, how to find your niche. So I just want to make a point of saying that I'm not against niching per se, but I want to share that if you're one of those people that is really battling with this might be another way of looking at it. Just this past week, I spent 3 days down near London with one of my mentors, and he said something on stage that really resonated with me. So much so that when I got back to my Airbnb, I recorded a quick podcast on it, but I thought I would put it in a slightly longer form video for you. And he basically said from stage, niches are fucking overrated. And I mean, at the time, I think I was playing on my phone or I was doing something, but I was at the back of the room. He had my attention because I was like, I want to hear what's next, right? For nothing else, because it'll probably be some good content that I can make out of this. Here we are in this video. He said niches are overrated, and then he went on to say why. He said the reason why niches are overrated is because what most coaches, trainers, consultants do while trying to figure out a niche is they don't really take any action. So rather than just putting out information to grab attention, to get potential paying customers for their business, they sit and wait and hold and put their bum on their hands, saying, "Oh no, I can't put a message out there because I don't have a niche yet. You know, by golly, I can't put a message out there. What will people say? Oh, what are you doing? You don't have a niche." And he basically just absolutely ripped to pieces the point that most people that are kind of playing around with this niche thing aren't taking any action. He wasn't saying don't niche. What he was saying is most people spend so much time trying to figure out the niche thing, they don't actually take any action whatsoever. And so when I think about it in our world, so if you're one of our master coaches, or even if you're not, if you are a coach, here's something for you to consider. Great quote by Michael Jordan. I never get the numbers right, but if you're familiar with this quote, maybe help me out in the comments. But Michael Jordan, along the lines of, kind of says, you know, I've missed 10,000 shots and missed the game-winning shot 500 times, and I've been relied on to do the playoff point shot 50 times and missed half of them. And that's why I've won so many titles, so many championships, and been, you know, considered by many to be the best basketball player of all time. So my point here, the point that Michael Jordan's making is the fastest way for him to succeed is failing more. And so in our world of coaching, here's the mistake I see. Most coaches spend too much time on this niche thing. And the consequences of that is nobody knows that they exist. So here's what they want to do instead. They just want to focus on these 4 letters: CYBO. In our world, that stands for coach your butt off. If you have 2 coaches, one has a perfectly thought out, beautifully crafted niche that will grab attention, but they're not putting it out there. And then you have another coach who doesn't have a niche, but he's literally coaching session after session after session after session after session to people who aren't a specific targeted audience. Who's going to have the most clients at the end of a month? The second one, obviously, because the second one, like Michael Jordan's point, is actually taking shots. Now, they're going to fail They're going to get rejection. They're going to get no. They're going to get, I don't have the money. I need to think about it. They're going to get all those things. Let's make no mistake about it. Let's talk to the elephant in the room. Please do not fall into the illusion of thinking that by having a niche means that you're not going to have rejection. Because here's what I also heard this mentor say. He said, forgive me for not paraphrasing, but he said along the lines of, most people think having a niche is going to reduce the amount of rejection that they get. He said, because most people's biggest fear is that they won't be validated and they'll be rejected, because nobody likes rejection. I don't like rejection. Nobody likes rejection. So he said, well, so what most people do is they think having a niche is going to reduce the amount of resistance that they have. And they may be right. But here's another thing to consider. If you've got a beautifully crafted niche and you're picking your shots with coaching, if coach A is picking their shots and only coaching within their niche, let's say in a month they do 5 or 6 discovery calls, or trailers as we call them in our world. But then the second coach, who doesn't have a niche, who just loves coaching and will literally coach anybody because they just love it, and it's not about the money and it's not about the sales, they just absolutely love it. In the same time that the coach A coaches 5 discovery sessions, Coach B does 25. Well, Coach B is way more likely to be making more income than the first coach, just because he or she have coached more. So if you're a person that right now is still kind of wrestling with this niche thing, here's what I want you to do. Still spend time trying to figure that thing out. Because having a niche, one of my other mentors, a good friend of mine, Jessen, would say, generalists seek clients, clients seek specialists. So you do want to be a specialist. You do want to be an expert. You do want to have an expertise that people say, oh, yeah, Anna, she coaches on women on X. Yeah, you do want that. You want to get known for that, but you don't want to be so busy playing around with the niche thing that you're not just out there doing the cybo thing of coaching your butt off. So spend 80% of your time coaching your butt off, and 20% of your time figuring out the marketing of how to actually build your business properly. Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology, 20% skill. I would rather hire an absolutely phenomenal world-class coach who is joyful, enthusiastic, full of energy, charismatic, powerful, certain, and just clearly has been coaching for years, than another coach who has the perfect niche, but is kind of fumbling over their lines and sounds like they're really, really conscious about whether I like them and am I going to buy or not. Much rather have the first coach. Don't be the second coach that spends so much time battling with the niche that they just don't do enough coaching sessions. I can't tell you in the past 7 or 8 years how many coaching sessions I've done, but it is thousands. And during the pandemic, I had a period of time where I literally went, everybody's at home in lockdown, better help them out. And I just pimped myself out and said, hey, I basically was almost like a coaching hotline. And I just said to all my social media friends, I'm open if you want a coaching call. It's, I usually charge, £1,000 a session. It's free. and literally didn't plan for this to happen, but I had like 37 paying clients in about 4 weeks. I then subsequently had to put them into a group coaching offer because I didn't have the time to facilitate them once we figured out how to migrate our business into the virtual world. But the point here I'm making is I didn't have a niche. I just coached my butt off. So coach as many people as you can. That is the fastest way to build a great coaching business. Niches are overrated. Don't allow a niche to stop you from doing the thing that ultimately you're here to do, which is to coach people and to change lives. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, let me know in the comments what you've learned from the video, and I will no doubt see you